The ghost of abductions is not leaving Kenya any soon. Just a few hours today, the public CS Justin Muturi called for a press conference and condemned the abductions, calling out on Ruto, saying that the government cannot claim innocence on the abductions that are going on. Now, Amnesty International Kenya is saying that it is not only the locals that are living in fear, but even some foreigners who seek political asylum in the country. Barely a few weeks, about 2 weeks or so, after Kizza Besigye, one of the very strong opposition leaders in Uganda, were abducted in Nairobi, Kenyan soil, it is reported that another renowned Tanzanian opposition chief was abducted. And Amnesty International is reporting this. Miss Maria Shehai, I don't know whether I pronounced it right, Miss Maria Shehai, Tanzanian independent media editor and human rights defender, kidnapped by 3 armed men in a black Noah from Chaka Place, Kilimani, Nairobi, Kenya at 3:15 p.m. today. Teams on site spread the word, let's keep Maria safe. Spread the word. This is Amnesty International. They are saying, spread the word, let's keep Maria safe. Meaning, they are calling on collective responsibility. Let us be one another's keeper. Let us shout. Let us make noise. As this was happening, several international bloggers and those who feel a little bit safe because they are in the foreign land delve on this matter. And I want us to look at what Nelson Amenya said, because so Amenya decided to warn any foreigner who is planning to visit Kenya because he feels Kenya is now unsafe for foreigners. And this is what Nelson Amenya is saying, that alert. If you are planning to visit Kenya as a foreigner for tourism or work, be warned that you might be abducted by a gun-wielding gangs operating under the full protection of the Butcher of Sugoi, aka William Samoei Ruto. He's tagging there the European Union Kenya, the US Embassy Kenya. Don't risk your citizens' lives. He does not end there. He's asking also, why are you so quiet? The silence of the foreigners is deafening. It is so loud that it behoves many to ask, why are they so quiet? This is a question that we've been asking. But ladies and gentlemen, I want us to delve with this discussion because it involves Kenyans who are living within the country and even those who are living outside the country. Remember, this is just 2 weeks after Kizza Besigye was abducted. He came for, I think, a book launching event where Martha Karua had invited him and he was abducted. Remember Martha Karua going to Uganda trying to be his lawyer. Now another Tanzanian is abducted. And remember, there is an election coming later this year in Tanzania. So it seems like Madam Suluhu has unleashed her oppressive and cruel hands upon those who are trying to criticize the government. Allow me to ask you to subscribe to our channel, click the notification bell, kindly like this video and share videos. Thank you very much for your continued support. Ladies and gentlemen, the trend is becoming, is worrying, because it seems the East African presidents have decided that it is scratch my back, I scratch your back. The Kenyan soil has become a place where if someone seeks for an asylum, then they will cooperate and the person is taken back. Sometimes you are running because your life is in danger and then you are taken back, and that is how you lose it. This is also happening just a few months in October last year. United Nations warned that they were deeply concerned after 4 Turkish refugees were abducted and taken back. They were abducted in Nairobi and forced to go back to Turkey. Under circumstances that are unknown, you do not know whether you are taking back someone into hangman's noose. So it is really worrying. And the East African presidents have decided that they are going to silence opposition. It is happening in Kenya, it is happening in Uganda, it is happening in Tanzania. So today, if you think that you are opposing William Ruto and then you flee to Uganda or Tanzania, be rest assured that you are coming back, because they are now they seem to have a standard operating procedure where if you are Ruto's enemy, then you are Museveni's enemy, you are Samia Suluhu's enemy. They can disagree on some matters, but when it comes to anyone opposing them, then they have a common enemy. And the politicians are the same. Just like in the country, they could disagree with the opposition leaders and all that, but you realize that when Ruto approaches Raila or he approaches Uhuru Kenyatta, who was some of his very worst nemesis, then they come together under the guise of we want to save the country. And this must worry us, because it seems they have a common plan to ensure that they silence the opposition. And where does that leave the credibility of our elections? When any opposition leader is being intimidated, and all the others that maybe his supporters, those who want to question the powers that be, are also in trouble, because when others are being intimidated, then it is a warning to those who may want to join the bandwagon of criticizing the government. It also means that the credibility of the election, the upcoming elections, whether in Kenya, Uganda, or Tanzania, will be wanting. Because if you see a leader who is already in fear, trying to silence the opposition, even beyond the borders, then it tells you that maybe they have not fulfilled all the promises that they gave to Kenyans. They do not understand or do not want to practice democracy. They feel it is their way or the highway. This is also coming just a few months after Martha Karua had made certain allegations that there was certain foreign machinery that are being used in Kenya to kidnap Kenyans, and that they were living in Karen, I think, near DP's office. And so, ladies and gentlemen, this is a very worrying trend. And we also realize that the international community is very quiet. The US is not coming, US embassy is not saying anything. And even if they have to talk, it is an empty talk. They will say that we condemn, we are deeply worried, we are deeply concerned. There is nothing much that they will do, because we can always conclude that they are now part and parcel of this clandestine motive to silence critics. That is the same thing that is happening here. When Gen Zs try to ask questions, they're silenced, they're kidnapped. So it's not only in the country, it's in the neighboring countries. Every president, I don't know whether to say that every African president fears to be criticized. It only means they're not doing the right thing. And so, ladies and gentlemen, the only thing that Amnesty International is asking for is, let us make noise, let us spread the message, let us be our brother's keeper, let us keep the abductees safe by just spreading the message, making noise. I wonder why this is happening, because I've never seen such a thing before. I think there is a law that allows someone to be given asylum. I don't know whether it is at the mercy and the grace of the president of that country. I don't know, because foreigners can never be in this country. Foreigners cannot get into the country and abduct someone. If they do, then they must liaise with the sitting government. Ruto must allow them to do so. Because then the question would be, if foreigners can get into our country and abduct any person, then it means we are not safe at all. Because that will be an external aggression that involves the intervention of our army, Kenya Defense Forces. In the absence of this, then it means that the government has allowed this to happen. And I'm worried that the three presidents are killing democracy, they are killing criticism, they are killing the freedom of speech, the freedom of expression. They want everyone to dance to their tune. They want to kill opposition. Just like in Kenya, the opposition has been really weakened because part of it is in the government, the other part is outside. So there is a deliberate effort. And when you see foreigners keeping quiet, they also want to ensure that they are also part of this system because they want their interests to be taken care of. This is a worrying trend. If you look at BBC, they are reporting this. Several international media are reporting this, and they are exposing what is happening in the country, exposing Kenya. That is where we are. That is where we are. We are going back to the darkest days, having fought fearlessly to restore our democracy, to expand the democratic space, to get our autonomy from the colonial masters. With the new colonialism has come back in full swing, and we are dancing to its tune. It is cruel, it is harsh, and it is trying to silence those who dare to speak.